the Queen of Resilience, sits down with each incredible author featured in this highly anticipated anthology. In this captivating series, we delve into the depths of each author's chapter, exploring the hows and whys behind their desire to share their experiences with multiple sclerosis. Prepare to be inspired as these courageous souls recount their triumphs, their challenges, and the resilience that fuels their spirits.
Welcome back, listeners, to Whispers of Resilience, our MS stories. Today I've got Robyn with me. How are you, Robyn?
I'm really good. How are you, Juz?
I'm great. We're coming to the end of all these interviews, which is fantastic. Getting to see you all face to face and sharing why you wrote your book, why you wrote the chapter into the book and other little bits that you may have wanted to put into the chapter. So let's get started with that question as to why did you want to write your chapter?
Why I wanted to write it? Because I wanted to educate the wider public, but also new MS diagnosed patients about what MS actually is and how it's so different for everybody. And I wanted to put my part of the story, my chapter, into the wider book because each of us are so different and each of our symptoms and day-to-day lives are so very different with this condition.
Yeah, I'm finding that theme through a lot of people now with it. So your chapter is incredible, Robyn. For those wanting to read Robyn's chapter and everyone else's, it is available through resiliencemindset.com.au and also on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, all the major downloading, Audible, all of that. With Kindle, we've put it absolutely everywhere. Robyn, what's one thing that you wish that you'd written in your chapter but hadn't?
I really like my chapter for what it is currently. I think I put all the points across of how I felt and what I wanted to portray as that initial chapter. I don't know. I think if I wanted to put anything else in, people are going to have to wait to see if I put a memoir out and read the rest of that.
There's the tease. Remember, Morpheus has a writing group. You are welcome to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Morpheus Writing Group is up and going for anyone that is interested, and we do it remotely, so via Zoom, and we offer 4 half-hour sessions a month, one-on-one with me, and then 2 group sessions in the month as well. So if you are looking at writing your own memoir or short stories, or we've got someone writing a poetry book, then please get in contact through resiliencemindset.com.au, and we can definitely put you on the right direction. So you've definitely got a memoir in you, Robyn.
Apparently so, yes.
Oh, yeah, your life has been incredible, and not just the MS, because that's just a small bit to it, but your whole life in the entertainment industry, and that I'm sure there's some good stories in there that need to be told out to the wider world. So, Robyn, let's talk about, what can we talk about today? What are you up to nowadays?
Nowadays, it's really about me. I've just gone through a flare, so I'm on my recovery path after that. So
let's just say you went through the flare when you were writing your chapter.
just after it, really. Yeah, just after writing the chapter. So I chose to wait a period of time to see if symptoms got better, and contacted my neuro and we discussed it. And the week later, I went on methylprednisolone
How long
because,
did you wait?
look, I waited 3 weeks and I wouldn't suggest anybody else wait those 3 weeks. For me, I think it's been a learning thing that I've learnt since my diagnosis. First up, I've my first years I was averaging 2 relapses a year, so I would be hospitalised
Mm.
twice a year, and for good reason. And after having it for 7 years and listening to a lot of other people and um, understanding the condition a bit more, I guess I tried to um, work out if I could work through the flare. And for me, it got to the point where I went, no, this is too long, and uh, I need to speak to my neuro. I wouldn't recommend that for anybody new or anybody at all. Realistically, they say if this is new symptoms or worsening symptoms, to contact your neurologist within, I think it's 24, 48 hours. Um, for me, I didn't consider them new symptoms. I just considered them exacerbated symptoms. And that was my choice.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember having a little conversation with you when you were relapsing and saying, I think you need to contact your doctor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We sometimes try to be really stoic and push through things, and that
Well,
sort of
none of
takes.
us likes going on steroids.
No, and nobody likes to be sick. And all my life I've uh, worked very long hours, and that's why my diagnosis was later on in life, because I worked 18-hour days and I was fatigued and I was tired and I had migraines and I had lots of symptoms that align with MS, but I never um,
Thought about it.
thought about it. Yeah,
You used to just think that you're overdoing it.
yeah, I did. I
Yeah.
did.
And
I
I'm sure
remember.
there's so many people out in the community that are like that as well. I mean, the statistics say I think we're up around 25,000 people diagnosed in Australia, but there is a hell of a lot more walking around out there that have either been misdiagnosed with something or are putting up with stuff at home thinking that they've just got a pinched nerve, um, that have no idea whatsoever that they've got MS. There'd have to be a lot more.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
Yeah. So it's important that, if something's not right with your body, to go and seek medical attention. And if you do go to your GP, and they're not listening to you, or even at a neurologist and they're not listening to you because no one knows your body better than you do, then go and find a different doctor.
Yeah,
Keep pushing.
I totally agree, Justine. My first neurologist, I wasn't sure about, and I just wanted a second opinion.
Yeah.
Um, and we all have the choice to do that. You don't have to be stuck, and it's such a huge thing anyway to be
Mm,
diagnosed. And it's overwhelming. It can be overwhelming for most of us, um, and it can be life changing. So you have the choice to seek a second, third, fourth opinion. You're not discounting what the neurologist or GP has said to you, but you're actually informing yourself better.
yeah. Yeah, I always question now. After I was at a GP who told me going purple was fine and to come back 4 months later if it was still happening. And it turned out that I had not just one cancer, but 3 cancers and 2 blood conditions all at the same time. And if I'd listened just to that one doctor when all my cells in my body were screaming, no, this doesn't feel right, this is not right. If I'd listened to her, I wouldn't be here today. So I did go and seek a second opinion, and then headed down being diagnosed with the melanoma, lymphoma, and leukemia. But she just brushed me off. So it is important to listen to your gut and to listen to, because that saying, oh, listening to your gut, is actually every cell in your body going, no, it's not right.
Yeah.
How many of us have done that and then tried to fob it off?
All the time. All
Yeah.
the time. I think that's another good point, though, is that about getting a team around you, a team of medical professionals, support workers, family, friends, but having your circle, having your team around you that you can talk to, which is what I do now. I've got a great team, and I just don't talk to one person. I will talk to several within that team, whether it's my physio, my neuro, my GP, my support worker, because my support workers or my friends see changes in me that I don't see.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. And it is important to keep those lines of communication open, and be willing to listen to what they have to say as well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because sometimes we can become quite closed off in, oh no, that's not wrong with me. Oh no, I'm not like that. Whereas when they're seeing and experiencing us all the time, especially when it comes to cognitive damage, there can be subtle changes that are happening, and then all of a sudden they all add up, and you don't realize it because you're the one living with it, that those changes have occurred. But your family and your friends will definitely notice things about you. I had the one where I would break into laughter or tears for no apparent reason.
Okay.
And when I was newly, well, even before I was diagnosed, it was leading up to it. And I'd pick up my daughter from school and just start laughing at her. She's
Oh,
like, Mum, I've done nothing funny, and I couldn't stop laughing. And I'd be like laughing and going, I don't know why I'm laughing. And it was, an emotion that I couldn't control. And crying was another one. I just would be sitting here now and I'd just burst into tears, and I couldn't tell you why I was crying because I didn't know why I was crying.
yeah. See.
Um, but your family and your friends notice these things about you, and it's important that they give you the feedback for it and that you're willing to listen, because then they could be subtle changes that you're experiencing, or a relapse or new symptoms, or something like that, and that needs to be addressed with your health team as well. So where to from here, Robyn? What's next?
What's next? I don't know. Where
Robyn's
is next?
taking my daughter's bridal bouquet
Oh,
and the bridesmaids. What do you call them? Posies.
bouquets. Yeah,
Bouquet.
yes.
Yep.
I am doing that. I guess at the moment I'm just concentrating on getting my health back to where I want it to be.
Mm.
Um, it's kind of a step-by-step process. Is Yeah. So the first step is getting my health back. And I don't really think much further than that because my health is first and foremost.
Yep.
Um, and then once I've got that back, I want to go on a holiday. That's one thing.
Where
That's a
to?
goal.
Where are you going to go?
Um, I haven't been on a holiday since pre-pandemic, so
Yep.
that's one thing. Um, Look, to be honest, I need to get out in the community a lot more. I need to socialize a lot more.
Why is that important?
Because MS has, or having MS has isolated me a lot. I have brilliant support workers and things like that, but um,
It's different, isn't it?
yeah, it's different. And I was a workaholic. I worked 24/7, 7 days a week, rarely had a holiday. And so, yeah, now it's different. I'm looking through a different window now and need to just take each day, each
Yeah.
week, and still have goals, still want to do things in the future. But sometimes there's just bumps in the road, like having this little flare that sort of makes you stop and go, okay, I just need to reassess things and I need to get my health back and to to the to the stage where I'm able to walk or function better than I was,
Yeah.
and then move on from there.
Yeah. That's a good goal to have.
Yeah,
Yeah. Self-care.
yeah,
Lots. Be kind to yourself through the process. And the
yeah.
problem is you can't hurry it either.
No, you just have to. It is day by day. You know, I say to people, my life is so busy because it's so full of physio appointments, medical appointments,
That's a
all of the
full-time
different.
job in itself, just managing all the medical appointments.
Yeah, it is. It is. And support workers, I have wonderful support workers. So, um, yeah, it is. But, you know, physio, I'm exhausted after physio. Hydro, I'm exhausted after hydro.
So you've put
So
a pool
you,
in, haven't you? You've put your pool in for hydro?
yeah, it's coming, but I would still go to hydrotherapy with my physiotherapist because that means getting out, getting in the community, getting amongst people. So that's part of my goals
Yep.
is to continue with that, and it's a commitment. It's a commitment that makes me get up, get out, and actually do something.
Yep.
I like to. They are my goals. Is rather than sitting at home or I can do hydrotherapy at home, but it's more important that I actually get up and get out in the community.
Yep.
Yeah.
I agree. I've just spent the last 4 weeks at home working on this book. Every weekend, every spare moment, trying to get it together. And it's like, okay, well, I'm going to Bali in 5 days, 6 days. So I'm like, all right, I can afford to stay at home and do that because I know that there is something better coming up for it. But the book has been the priority in my life. But geez, I've missed going out and socializing and catching up, and it does start to affect you mentally
Oh,
from it as well.
absolutely. And look, I have started going out and socializing, but once again, you have to plan these things. So you, for me, I might have to have a nana nap in the afternoon. And
So when you
plan,
say plan these things, you mean around your fatigue. So
yeah, very much
your
so,
fatigue.
very much so.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, and just planning how I'm going to get to and from. Um, when I get to wherever I'm going, is there going to be stairs? Is there going to be what is the access
Toilets,
like?
whether there'll be toilets, whether I
Oh,
can use those toilets.
yeah, lots of things. So apart from spending most of the time in medical appointments or physio or whatever, you have to plan your life to figure out accessibility.
Yeah. And that's a big one. I mean, Alison and I, so Alison, who's another co author in the book, her and I run a podcast, another podcast called MS Unmasked. And we spoke about accessibility not so long ago. And until you're either using a walking frame or a wheelchair, you don't realize how small the world actually is. And
Correct.
you look outside of a store and go, well, I can't go in there. There's a step to get up in there.
Yeah.
Or when, like, I will not go to DFO again in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
Because you can't push a chair through the clothing racks. It all becomes very, very claustrophobic and small, and it's not built or designed for people that are in chairs. And You go to restaurants, and well, we were talking about this recently, Robyn, that I was at a major awards night and petrified of winning something because I couldn't get up the steps to accept the trophy. And if I did get up, I would have to come back down. I'm on my bum down the 12 steps in front of 1,000 people. And I went into a panic mode and said to Susie, who works with me, who was beside me, I said, I hope I don't win. She goes, what? That's what we're here for. And I'm like, no, I can't get up the steps to accept the trophy. I shouldn't have been put in that position. It shouldn't have been, crossing my mind, oh, how am I going to get up and down those steps? There's no handrails. They're not lit. They're very narrow, just evaluating them all. Whereas an able-bodied person would just walk up them and not worry. But it was not an all-inclusive event at all. And just things like that, even like going out for dinner with people and they have it upstairs and it's like, oh, is there a lift? Is there a lift?
I had one the other night that I went out for dinner, but I have to say I'll call her a maitre d'. She was lovely. The minute I walked in and she saw my cane, she went, "Oh my goodness, we've put you upstairs. I'll see if I can put something downstairs," which was actually, it was really lovely. I have to say, I didn't have to explain. She just saw straight away
Yeah.
and thought, we've seated them in the wrong place. So,
They should ask when you ring up for a booking, especially if it's a 2-story venue, is there any accessibility issues?
yeah,
We'd say yes or no.
they probably should. It's like, as we've said, there's a lot of things they should ask about accessibility.
Well, I know a girlfriend that went to a dinner and it was upstairs and there was no lift and she was in a wheelchair.
I went to a
She had to be carried up in her wheelchair and she was so embarrassed
Yeah.
by it.
Yeah.
People just don't get that.
No, I went to a movie premiere a week or so ago,
Yeah.
and I knew the theatre had accessible cinemas, and it was put on by a council.
Yeah.
And I arrived there, got to sign in, and said to the young girl, which cinema is it in? And she points up 3 flights of stairs. And I went, is there accessibility to get up there? And she said, no, I'm sorry. And I thought, oh, shit, okay. And once again, being stoic, I was angry, pissed off. Being a council event, I thought it should have been better accessible for lots of different reasons.
Yeah.
So stoically, my husband helped me crab walk up the stairs, because I wanted to see this premiere. It was quite important.
Yeah.
And but then the problem was halfway through the movie. Halfway through the movie, I needed to go to the toilet, didn't I?
And they were on the ground floor.
And they were on the down floor, yeah. So there was all of these things. I guess I didn't realize. I thought, yeah, I'm going to be stoic, and hubby will help me get up the stairs and down. But yeah, it was that thing of, oh, now I've got to go to the toilet, and yeah, now I think
can't be legal in today's society.
I was
Operate that many floors up without a lift.
Yeah, I don't look. I have to say it was an older style cinema, but I was pretty shocked because of who had organised it and what the movie was about and lots of different things. So, yeah, that was a bit of a hit in the face. And yeah, it's
a girlfriend over to Melbourne, who was in a chair, and to visit her ophthalmologist over there, and in the Channel 10 building. Now, you would have been probably, Robyn, at one stage in the Channel 10 building.
Yeah.
And the lift only goes to the 20th floor, 19th
Yes.
or 20th floor. His room was up this big spiral staircase
Oh my goodness.
on the next floor. So I just looked at her. Now, she can't walk, and she went up those stairs dragging herself up them. I then had to get the wheelchair up it. So me being disabled as well, trying to get her wheelchair up the top so she could then sit in it. He never came out and helped at all. There were no disabled toilets on that floor whatsoever, and she had to go. So I blocked off the whole toilets just so she could go to the toilet. And this was a medical professional. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Like, get your
Well,
shit together.
yeah, these are the challenges that we all face, and every person with a disability faces.
On a
Um,
daily basis. Not if this is not just a once-off thing. This is continually.
yeah, it
And
is.
through the chapters of the book as well, you'll hear other people. That's mine. You'll hear other people um, say the difficulties that they've had and experienced, and have gone through everything as well. And there is a theme throughout it, just like there's a theme throughout all the chapters of the MS Readathon.
Oh, is there?
Yeah, which is quite funny because you haven't read the book yet, Robyn. None of the authors have read everyone else's
No.
chapter. And a lot of you all mentioned the MS Readathon, and that was your only knowledge of MS prior to being diagnosed, was knowing about it when we were all in primary school, with the little dog and the magnifying glass, the sleuth,
That's
as he
right.
was. So yeah, that was quite funny. I wish I had $1 for every one of you that wrote about the MS
Oh,
Readathon.
my best friend of 5 years old, her mum had MS. So
Oh,
that was my first introduction to someone with MS, and I watched her progress. And obviously, in those days, the progression was quite quick because there weren't any medic.
DMTs.
No, there weren't any DMTs.
Same
So
as my mum.
yeah,
Her
so
progression was quite fast.
that was my first introduction
I
to
can remember with my
MS.
mum, because I was 9 when mum was diagnosed, and then I probably would have been about 12 or 13 when she was on a thing, and I talked to my neuro about this, and he just shakes his head, where she was on a thing called the transfer factor. Now,
Ah,
this was pre-HIV, so it was probably, or when HIV hadn't really come about too much. So it would have been about 82, 83. And in our freezer, we used to have these little vials that mum would take one down every week or fortnight or something to the doctor. She'd have to defrost them. So they were frozen in the freezer, and she'd have to defrost them. And then the doctor would give her this vial. And what was in the vial was other people's white blood cells
wow, wow.
that weren't pre-screened for
Oh,
HIV.
oh,
Yeah. Yeah. So it was really remarkable. Not that it did anything for her MS, it did nothing at all. But I just thought, wow, back then the risks that she took for her MS, and, what we saw her go through, and like she did a full irrigation, quite iconic irrigation, and she was eating lecithin by the spoonful, and
oh,
all this stuff that, if someone told her, or such and such had been cured by this, or, been cured by that, as we now know that, there is no cure, people will try absolutely everything, and the witch doctors will come out saying, try this potion, try this, it cured such and such as distant, reduced, removed cousin or brother or sister or whatever. And because we are so desperate for cures, people will hand over so much money in order to improve their health, which, you know, is damaging in so many ways. So the proceeds, 25% of the profit of this book is going back direct to MS research, and they do believe that within the next 10 years that they'll have a cure out there. And wouldn't it be great if this book then became a history book? Because the disease no longer exists in society, and this is the proof that it did.
Yeah, I think it's a great legacy item for history. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
So don't forget to grab your copy on resiliencemindset.com.au or on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Target, you name it, it will be online. If you've got any questions for us whatsoever, please feel free to write in and give us some feedback as well. Or if you would like to share your story in one of the upcoming MS books that we've got on the go, please make contact as well. And all the details will be in the show notes. So, Robyn, thank you very much for coming on today and talking about your chapter. I'm sure those that are listening out there now can't wait to read it.
Thanks, Justine.
You're welcome. So, until next time, everyone, please stay healthy.
Are you ready to be inspired? Get ready for the book that will touch your heart and ignite your spirit. Whispers of Resilience, Personal Stories of Living with MS is now available for purchase. Have you ever wanted to peek into the lives of individuals who have triumphed over adversity? Look no further. This highly anticipated anthology brings together a group of exceptionally talented authors, all living with multiple sclerosis, who share their personal journeys with unyielding honesty and vulnerability. At www.resiliencemindset.com.au, you can now secure your copy of this remarkable book that captures the essence of resilience, hope, and the power of the human spirit. Dive into the stories that will captivate your imagination and open your heart to the triumphs and challenges faced by these courageous individuals. With each turn of the page, you'll witness the unbreakable spirit of these authors, as they navigate the unpredictable terrain of MS. Their words will inspire you, uplift you, and remind you of the incredible strength that lies within. Visit www.resiliencemindset.com.au now and embark on a transformative journey through the pages of Whispers of Resilience. Get your copy today.